What's up, YouTube? Fat Kings Phil here. I know that I already gave you guys a video this week, but call this bonus Phil. Just what everybody needs in their life, a little bonus Phil. So actually I was jumping on here just to kind of give you guys a report on how my trip went. I was going to do it from the hotel and I just decided not to. So it's that simple. So kind of here's what happened. So on Wednesday we went to a Cleveland Indians game. Cleveland Indians game. God, I can't talk today. And that was kind of our outing event. And we had the access to like the little covered patio by the bar, and we were kind of hanging out over there talking, and I was drinking a lot of water out there. But man, it was hot and it was humid. And I was kind of thinking of James the whole time I was out there. I'm like, man, I don't know if I can keep ahead of this sweating, because I was sweating a lot more. And I kept drinking as much water as I could. And I definitely felt a little dehydrated after that day. So I can imagine how you felt, Brother James. It was not as hot as Texas, but it was hot. So yeah, kept drinking water. You know, people are ordering beers. They're getting this, that, and the other thing. And they had like a little buffet there. So the cool thing was they had shredded chicken and they had shredded pork on top of hot dogs and stuff that you would expect at a ballpark. So I got a little shredded chicken, a little shredded pork. Put it on a plate, looked at it, and I'm like, that looks like it might be a little too much, but it actually turned out to be perfect amount. And I ate that, and I was fine for the rest of the time there. I had taken protein bar and some this like paleo mix. It's like beef jerky and almonds and some cranberries and some other stuff. It was you know, just like a snack mix. I thought, well, this would be good for some protein and some carbohydrates, since I'm going to be out here and, you know, sweating in the sun and all that good stuff. So, but I didn't end up eating any of that. I just ate the pulled chicken and pork, and that worked out great. And then, so, you know, spent the rest of the day drinking water. We went over to a bar after that to kind of hang out with everybody. Everybody got beers. I got water. And, you know, it was kind of tough because I was craving. I'm like, I want to have a drink too. Which we've discussed in, you know, I was watching Nerd in Oregon's video, and she was talking about when she went drinking and how, like, yeah, I enjoyed drinking every once in a while. It's kind of fun. So I really wanted it, but I decided not to. So I went back to the hotel, had to work the next day. And then I also had to fly out the next day. So I went into work early. I worked a 6-hour shift, and then I drove to the airport, Cleveland Airport, which is like 40 miles away. Sent me to they gave me the wrong address to return the car to. The rental return address was wrong. So my GPS took me to the middle of nowhere. I had to find it. Found it. I was panicking because I thought I was going to be late. Got to the airport. And I'm, by the way, I'm one of those people who's just never late to anything. I'm always early to everything. So I went in, went through security, got to the gate, and looked at the flight. And I'm like, 6 o'clock? This thing's supposed to take off at 4:30. What the hell is 6 o'clock? So I went over to the United desk, and they're like, oh, yeah, it's been delayed. I'm like, oh, well, been nice to know that before I was trying to kill myself to get to the airport. So I sat there, got closer and closer to 5, and I'm like, I'm going to have to eat dinner. I'm not going to get my meal on the plane, because for those of you that didn't watch the previous video, I actually got a first class ticket. It was actually a business class ticket, it turned out. But you know, you still get all the first class amenities. I was like an A1 on the first seat in the plane, right? So, you know, I knew I was going to get a meal with that. And I thought, well, you know, it'll be a small little meal. It'll have something there that I can eat protein-wise, and then I'll just call that a day. It'll be perfect. So that wasn't going to happen. So I'm like, well, I'm going to go over and grab something to eat, because I'm starting to get a little hungry. So I went over to the brewery there, and they had some different things there, the brewery style thing inside the airport. It's a Great Lakes Brewing Company, which is big in Ohio, I guess. So I looked at the appetizer menu. I'm like, chicken wings. That sounds good. Because I'm thinking, you know, chicken wings. You can't go wrong with chicken wings. So I ordered them, and it came out, and they weren't chicken wings. They were little tiny fried or breaded. They weren't fried, but breaded chicken tenders. They were small, like the size of a chicken wing. I'm like, God dang it. I didn't want breaded anything, you know? So whatever, I got that. I'm like, whatever, just cut them open, take the meat out of them, you know, get the breading off as much as you can. And not that I care. I would eat the breading. I'm not worried about the few extra calories of the breading. It's just like, I just didn't know my stomach was going to take it. So I took the chicken out, and I dipped it in the little chipotle sauce, and I ate that. And I got about, you know, there were 8 of them on the plate. I'm like, there ain't no way in hell I'm eating 8. Maybe 4. So I said, 4 looks about the right size of food that I normally would eat. So I started eating them, and I got about 3.5. You know, by the third one, I was like, my stomach's feeling funny. And so I'm like, oh, you know, it's probably just a gas bubble. It'll come up. So I sat there for a while, I burped a little bit. It felt a little better. Grabbed the bite of the fourth one, the first bite of the fourth one, swallowed that, and I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm done. Something's not right. I was either full or I was, whatever it was. So I pushed that away, and the waitress was kind of shocked. She's like, well, you know, that's not very much. You sure you're okay? I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm just full. And so paid her and left. And then got on the plane, and later on, they thank goodness, because they said, oh, by the way, because the plane was delayed, we didn't get the food on board, so we're sorry, you know, we can bring you some chips and pretzels and stuff for free, and, you know, free drinks and all that good stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm good. So that all worked out fine. I did have a drink, I'm not gonna lie. I did have one drink. I had a Bloody Mary, believe it or not. I was gonna hold off and try to make the whole year without any alcohol, but I was so uptight and so pissed off about that flight being delayed over and over and over. Oh, by the way, that's the other thing. Flight was supposed to leave at 6, didn't show up. 6:20, didn't show up. 6:30, it finally showed up. We didn't leave till 6:45. I got to drive, you know, another hour and a half home from there. And in Colorado, whether you guys have been watching the news or not, it's been flooding like crazy everywhere. So it's been raining like crazy. And it's just not a state built for rain. It's kind of like Vegas, right? So it doesn't rain a lot in Vegas, so the infrastructure is not designed to handle a ton of rain. But when the rain comes, it comes hard. And in this case, in Colorado, it's like, you know, 200-year storm. It's rained harder in the last 24 hours than it has in the entire time I've lived here for a sustained period. Normally we get like a flash of water for like 15, 20 minutes and it's gone. This was nonstop. From the time I landed to the time I got home, in the middle of the night, it woke me up. I mean, it just never stopped raining. So it's been raining nonstop. A lot of towns have been flooded and stuff. Not here, but getting home, you know, I knew I was going to have to drive through all that crap. So finally get to Denver, get in the car, drive back here. I didn't get home till like 10. So basically I traveled for 10 hours and I worked for 6. I was pretty tired. But all in all, my experience of eating out there was good. I ate in a room for the most part. You know, I had my little turkey slices with my pesto and my little string cheese. I had some protein bars during the day. Those Total Lean shakes that TJ picked up were pretty good. They're a little watery. If you don't like the watery kind of Slim Fasty kind of consistency, you might not like them, but I thought they were tasted fine. So they were good. And they definitely did the job. I didn't have any problems eating calorie wise, so I'm not too worried about that. But today I just feel like heavier. Like I feel fatter, you know, which is weird. I jumped on the scale this morning. I was down 1.5 pounds, which, you know, I'm willing to bet that I'm retaining some water just from not drinking enough water yesterday and having some salty foods. So I'm sure by Tuesday I'm going to have put down a couple pounds at least. So I'm definitely lighter than when I left, but I just feel funnier. But on the other side, though, my clothes are fitting differently. So I threw on a pair of shorts that I've been wearing for a while now, and they're up around, I love a little bit higher around my midsection, and they're sticking there fine. They're not being pushed down by my gut or anything. So, and that's the trick, right? So the bigger these shorts get, the higher I kind of pull them up and button them higher up around my middle. Normally I wear them a little bit lower, just above my hip bones, but lately I've been pulling them up because at least then they don't look totally huge. I can pull a shirt over them and they look like they fit somewhat. So that's been my trick so far. Whatever, went to work, did my thing, wearing this is one of my smaller 2X t-shirts and it feels good. I mean, I don't have any problems with it. So that's kind of where I'm at. Everything's going well back home. And TJ posted a video. If you guys haven't seen it, you got to see it. It was a really good video. Even if I didn't know him, I would think it was a good video. So and you guys got to get to see the TJ I know a little bit more. That cat he can just be funny, even when I don't think he's trying to be funny. But it like makes me want to be more funny. So you know, then I end up trying too hard and it looks forced. So, but yeah, no, some of the stuff he said in there cracked me up. But a lot of the good things he did say were really cool. I mean, I really am glad he pointed out the whole thing, how the world's built for 250 pounds and under. And I think Sarah even tagged up on that today. She said something similar to that. So the whole world's kind of built for people under 250 pounds. Yeah, but TJ kind of points it out, like office chairs and ladders, and he really talks about it. Go check it out. I'm not going to do it justice. He did a great job. Also, he's teasing some old school FatKings footage from back in the day. And he does have editing control because he has all the raw footage, so he can make me look like I'm a real nice guy. So we'll see what he comes up with. Although I'm hoping he uses something. There was a FatKings where we recorded in separate buildings. So he was in another state, and we're just recording, talking to our cameras like we are now, and we're listening to each other on Skype. And then he edited the video together to make it look like we were sitting side by side, like at a news desk kind of a thing. But he said something, you know, and I can't see him, so I don't know what's coming. And he said something that made me really laugh. So I'm hoping he uses that piece of footage at some point. So if he doesn't, I'll throw it up at some point. So, or you can go back and search through all the old Fat Kings episodes and find what I'm talking about, but I don't recommend that. So, anyway, okay. So that's, I just wanted to give you guys an update. Definitely go check out TJ's video. He's only 3 days away from surgery. He's having those, second doubts, you know, which I'm glad he is. If he wasn't, I'd be worried. But you know, go give him some knowledge and drop some post-op knowledge on him. You know, it's not going to make him understand it, you know, deep down and feel it, but maybe it'll help his head a little bit. You really can't, you know, it's like one of you ladies tried to tell me what it's like to give birth. I can empathize. I can't sympathize. So, I can say, oh yeah, that must really feel rough, you know, but I can't really get it. Once you're post-op, you get it. You get what it's like to be post-op, but before you're post-op, you're freaking out. So, I'm not too worried about him. So, and he spills my secret of my fascination with the bear community, in the sense that if there's a group of people who find big, heavy guys attractive, even if they're not, you know, my sexual preference, that interests me. See, I was trying to take notes to get get a group of women to start a bear community where they like women that were into big men, big, hairy, fat, bald guys especially would be helpful. But then I would have had to have VSG. I would have had, you know, all these women lusting after me, and who cares if you die young then? He outs me a little bit there, and I thought it was funny. I laughed, so don't think like I diving under the covers. So good times, yeah. So I'm glad he's coming on the Losers Bench. I'm glad he's making more videos, and I'm glad you guys are getting a chance to kind of get to know him the way I do. He looked like a big scare. First time I met that dude, we were working together, and here comes this guy, and he's, you know, pretty rough looking, all tattooed up. Not that I, you know, wasn't tattooed, but, you know, he's a little bit more open about it, and he looks big and scary, and he's one of the nicest damn guys on the planet. Now, that being said, I've also seen him not shy away from punching somebody in the nose who deserves it. So, but that, you know, he's all around a great guy. I mean, goes way out of his way to be thoughtful, and he lives life hard. He plays hard. He works hard. He's a good guy. So, all right, we will catch you next week on my normal day. And thanks for listening to my ramblings from my trip. Remember, it's good to be the king.